Welcome to episode 539 of AI Brief. Today we are diving into a really wild situation. We are looking at this massive industry pushback against the U.S. government's attempt to ban Anthropic's Fable 5. Plus, we're going to break down Satya Nadella's blueprint for how companies can actually win with AI and Meta's aggressive new move to turn Facebook into an AI search engine.
It is a packed deep dive today. And really, the thread tying all these updates together is control. From, government export restrictions to these massive corporate walled gardens, the defining question right now is, well, who actually holds the keys to AI capabilities?
Absolutely. So let us start right there with the government trying to control the tools. There is a massive mobilization happening in the cybersecurity space over this Fable 5 ban. Over 100 cybersecurity executives and leading researchers just signed what they are calling the Free Fable Open Letter.
Oh, wow, 100. That is a lot of industry weight.
Right. And we are not talking about fringe players here. These are leaders from Stanford, HAI, NVIDIA, Adobe, Zoom, and, several other major institutions. And they are urging the government to completely lift its export ban on Fable 5.
And their core argument completely flips the government's safety narrative on its head, which I find fascinating.
It really does. I mean, the government claims that banning Fable 5 keeps dangerous tech out of the wrong hands. But these experts are arguing that the ban actually just handcuffs the cyber defenders. It does absolutely nothing to slow down the attackers.
Because the attackers do not care about export bans.
Exactly. The threat actors can just pull the exact same capabilities from rival models that are still widely available. Models like GPT 5.5, Kimi 2.7, Opus, and Sonnet. It is incredibly frustrating to watch. It is kind of like trying to stop burglaries by outlawing the tension wrenches used by professional locksmiths.
That is a great analogy.
Thanks. I mean, the actual burglars already have their own kits on the black market. The only people you are hurting are the professionals you hired to test and secure your own building. It really makes you question if this ban is actually about safety or if it is just pure politics.
To really grasp why the industry is so angry about this, we need to look at how digital defense actually works today. Former security head Alex Stamos made a really crucial point about this. When an AI model generates a malicious exploit, or what we call a jailbreak, the government sees a dangerous weapon. But a defensive security team, they see a proof of concept.
Let us unpack that for a second. What does proof of concept mean for the listener who might not work in cybersecurity?
Think of it like a digital vaccine. To build immunity to a virus, you need a safe, deactivated version of that virus to study. In cyber, defensive teams rely on these AI-generated proofs of concept to understand the specific attack vectors.
Okay, I am with you.
They need the AI to show them exactly how a bad actor might break in so they can patch those weak spots before a real attack happens in the wild. If you take away their access to cutting-edge models like Fable 5, they cannot anticipate the novel attacks.
So by trying to play it safe, the restriction is actually making us more vulnerable.
Precisely. And this is why the industry is demanding scientific, democratic regulation. They want rules based on how defensive security teams actually operate, rather than these arbitrary bans.
Well, that desire to control who has access to the most powerful tools isn't just a government issue. You see that exact same anxiety in the corporate sector right now. Which brings us to Microsoft. CEO Satya Nadella just released a memo that completely reframes how companies should view AI. He breaks a company's value down into two distinct categories: human capital and token capital.
That distinction is so interesting because human capital is traditional, right? The expertise your employees bring. But token capital represents the AI intelligence your company actually owns rather than just renting it.
Yes, owning versus renting. And Nadella's blueprint for building this token capital centers on something he calls the learning loop. The idea is that a company's true competitive edge is building its unique know-how into a system. So the ultimate test is this. Can you swap out the underlying foundational model for a different one and have your company's specialized expertise stay completely intact?
It is basically the ultimate corporate moat.
It is, but I have to push back on this premise. Let us be real. Is it actually possible for a standard company to avoid ceding value to the big frontier models? If I swap out a massive frontier model for a smaller open source one, doesn't my system just get dumber? Or is Nadella just trying to sell Microsoft's specific enterprise architecture?
That is a very fair challenge to make. A year ago, swapping out a frontier model for a smaller one would have been a total disaster. The narrative was that you had to rely on a massive frontier steamroller. But the market has shifted. We are seeing cheaper open models becoming highly competitive.
So the raw intelligence is becoming more of a commodity now.
Exactly. You no longer have to rely exclusively on one massive provider. Companies are orchestrating multiple smaller models. In that scenario, your company's internal judgment and historical data, that is becoming the actual valuable asset. The foundational model is just the engine. If the engine gets too expensive, you swap it out. But you keep the steering wheel.
That concept of locking in your value transitions perfectly into what is happening over at Meta. Meta is aggressively reinforcing its walled garden. They just introduced a new AI mode in Facebook search, which is powered by their Muse Spark architecture. But instead of searching the open web, it pulls answers directly from public Facebook groups, Reels, and app content.
And they are bundling this with some major image editing upgrades too, right?
Yeah, lots of flashy consumer stuff. One-tap team jerseys, instant clothes, and hair swaps. But on the business side, they are reportedly rolling out paid tiers at $7.99 and $19.99 a month. This is clearly aimed at undercutting ChatGPT and Gemini. But looking at the search functionality, I see a massive red flag.
The hallucination risk.
Exactly. Think about how Google struggled with AI search accuracy using the entire open web. How disastrous could hallucinations be when Meta AI is relying on unvetted, messy public Facebook group posts?
Parsing a highly emotional debate in a local community Facebook group is vastly different from parsing a Wikipedia article. The AI has to synthesize subjective opinions as facts. But if you look at Meta's playbook, it explains why they're taking this risk.
They just want to keep people locked in.
Completely.
Yeah.
They are ditching traditional web links to keep users entirely locked inside the Meta ecosystem. They are playing the Google search playbook, but exclusively with their own proprietary content, so you never leave their apps.
Moving on from Meta's ecosystem, there are some massive structural shifts happening in the broader business and legal landscape today. I will hand the floor over to you to walk us through the rest of the day's critical headlines.
I can definitely do that. It is a pretty heavy news day. First up, OpenAI is launching a partner network to train 300,000 certified AI consultants by the end of this year.
Wow, 300,000, that is massive.
It is a huge push for enterprise adoption. But it directly contrasts with the immense legal risk they are facing. Right before their IPO, 42 state attorneys general have subpoenaed the company over ads, data handling, and model sycophancy.
Model sycophancy is when the AI just acts like a yes man, right?
Exactly. It prioritizes flattering the user over providing factual truth, which is obviously a huge liability. Meanwhile, in e-commerce, we got some wild data from Adobe Analytics and Reuters. Shoppers referred to retail sites by LLMs like ChatGPT or Gemini Convert at a 54% higher rate. They also spend 53% more time browsing and visit more pages than non-AI traffic.
A 54% jump in conversion. That is a massive paradigm shift. LLMs are no longer just productivity tools. They are actively becoming the new, highly lucrative top of funnel for e-commerce.
Oh, absolutely. And while that shift happens, we are seeing massive acquisitions. Salesforce just bought Fin for $3.6 billion to add autonomous support agents and 30,000 customers to Agentforce.
$3.6 billion is no joke.
Not at all. And on the legal front, Anthropic is facing a federal lawsuit for allegedly overselling usage limits on their paid Claude subscriptions. Finally, on the model front, Cartesia launched Sonnet 3.5 and Inc. 2, which just hit #1 on artificial analysis. And Sakana AI rolled out Marlin, an autonomous research agent that can run for 8 hours straight.
Running for 8 hours straight is wild, and that actually brings us perfectly to today's trending AI tools, because developers are sprinting to build for this new reality. Let us run through the tools dropping today. First up, you mentioned Cartesia's Sonic 3.5 and Inc. 2.
Like the new voice models.
Exactly. The practical use case here is building hyper-responsive voice agents for customer service hotlines that do not have that awkward robotic lag. Next is Robinhood's agentic trading.
Which uses MCP connections, if I recall.
Yes, you can set up an AI to execute specific trades automatically via MCP connections. The second market conditions hit your exact parameters. Then we have Moonshot's Kimike 2.7-code. This is a highly efficient open source coding assistant you can run locally, and it uses 30% fewer tokens.
That is huge for developers wanting to keep code offline.
Totally. Number 4 is GLM 5.2 from ZAI. This has a 1 million context window. You can drop an entire massive application code base into it for a deep system-wide refactor. Fifth is Aethix. This lets you launch localized, dialect-specific customer support voice bots, specifically for emerging markets.
Oh, that is a really smart niche to target.
Definitely. Number 6 is Apply Buddy. It automatically tailors a single master resume to match 50 different job descriptions instantly.
I know a lot of people who could use that right now.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Number 7 is Peak, P-E-C. This lets a marketing team track whether ChatGPT is actually recommending their brand over a competitor's.
Okay, I have to jump in on this one. Peak is fascinating because
Right.
tracking brand performance inside LLMs is quickly going to replace traditional SEO. Is going to be the most important metric for marketers to watch.
Oh, without a doubt. Okay, number 8 is InsForge. They let you spin up specialized agent-native cloud infrastructure. So if you have an autonomous coding AI, it has a safe sandbox to live and work in. And finally, number 9 is HiDream. This is for generating highly specific marketing assets where strict prompt fidelity and sharp details matter a lot more than artistic interpretation.
It is crazy how fast these tools are moving from novelty to pure utility.
It really is. So to wrap things up today, let us look back at our main theme. From the fight over the Fable 5 export ban to Satya Nadella's push for token capital, the defining struggle in AI right now is about who controls the intelligence and who's just renting it. It leaves you with a really provocative thought to mull over.
What is that?
Well, look at your own daily workflow. How much of your expertise is actually owned by you, and how much is at the mercy of an AI subscription?
That is a harsh reality check. We really have to stay vigilant in an ecosystem that is constantly shifting the rules on us.
Could not agree more. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please follow the show and share AI Brief with your network so they can stay ahead of the curve too. See you in the next episode.